Howdy, howdy, Twisted Sage here. Um, Sun 11 degrees of Capricorn. The moon's currently 14 degrees of Leo. Yeah, I've missed a few moons of transmission. Oh man, as I look, my soul feels younger than my face looks. I look at these stress and emotional cry lines as I think they are the mini venting of emotions. Goddamn Cancer moon. Anyways. All right, so I think I last transmitted during, maybe I caught the Gemini moon. But either that or missing Gemini moon and missing the Cancer full moon. So, since going back to sunrise for me, this would be my 9th season, 8 in a row. This year has been feeling good. As I spoke before, a little bit of losing of that magic in the last few years. I'd say that's more due to the relationships that were involved within the business of sunrise. But anyways, but I'm looking at the timing in the astrology, so I'm a Leo rising, which means that the sun is my most important planet. So it's like I definitely feel like some of that tension, that heaviness has left since the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn both moving into Aquarius. So leaving that a denser earth element into a let's fly element. Let's stay flying. Oh yes, but my sun, or the sun being my ruling planet. So whatever your ruling planet is, it's important to pay attention to what is that planet going through. Okay, so like, if your ruling planet's Neptune, well, that bitch moves slow. If you're a Cancer rising, oh boy, no wonder you're a moody fucking bitch, because your ruling planet moves all the damn time. So perhaps with the Geminis too, or I'm sorry, Mercury ruled, so Virgo risings, Gemini risings, you could also put the sun in that position, but of course that Cancer rising is going to be more of an emotion. It's moody. All right, so for me right now, the sun is moving through my 5th house. So that's play, the house of play. But my 5th house has a lot of Capricorn. It starts in Sag, but it's about 50-50, I guess. But it's definitely in Cap right now. So structured play. So I've been feeling great. I was I had 6 days straight. I was planning on going. And then, yeah, the full moon was in Cancer at 8 degrees. So the sun was 8 degrees, that Capricorn Cancer axis. And was feeling fine. We had some of the coldest days. Like, we had back-to-back really cold days up at sunrise, which, even though we're in the snow, we're still high desert. So some of our it doesn't stay cold for too long normally in the last 30 to 40 years up here. Maybe the late 80s, in the 80s might have been some of the last time where we had consistent colds in the White Mountains of Arizona. But anyway, so one of the downfalls to accepting working at the ski resort was I had to bow down and take the nose swab. And I'm like, whatever. Like, whatever. They're shoving cotton up my nose to take a sample of my... I mean, I guess you get DNA. I don't know. But I was just feeling so good about being there again. And I've been longing for happiness in my life for, it feels like forever now. The last 3 years, I mean, they've been wrenching. It just, yeah. You watch my videos long enough, yeah, I do some Cancer Moon crabby complaining. But, oh, yeah, so I said, oh, well, all right. I'll do the swab. So I don't know how many days I worked beforehand before I was asked to do the swab, 2 or 3. So I did the swab, and then so it's right after the full moon in Cancer, which was really close to my moon, which is 2 degrees. So 6-degree orb difference. In tradition, as I think about it, connecting dots, I had one of the best nights of my life on this. It was 2018 full moon in Cancer, but it started with some serious depression. So I'm just connecting the polarities, a taste of both. Because a full moon energy can be quite chaotic with extremes. So, anyway, right about towards the end of that day when the moon's creeping later degrees of Cancer, it kind of, in my chart, was triggered that grand Cardinal cross. I believe on a couple different levels. One, I already have a natural T-square of Cardinal cross energy, or I'm sorry, Cardinal T-square. But Mars was opposing my Saturn, opposing my Pluto, and then I also have that natural square from the Saturn and Pluto squaring kind of a sandwich square to my Venus and my South Node. So Mars being at like 26 degrees of Aries was directly opposing my Pluto, and then also squaring my Venus, and then squaring my North Node. But then the moon came in through. You can always look at the moon as a trigger. Because it moves so quick, hitting my North Node and then directly squaring my Venus. I'm sorry, opposing my Venus, squaring my Pluto, and transiting Pluto. So internal conflicts, external conflicts. But the moon running through those late degrees runs through my 12th house, which opposes my 6th house, the house of health. So, it went from kind of some lately on top of the world energies again to all of a sudden I got home that night and boom, I started to fever. And I could feel it. I'm sure actually probably sound a little stuffy right now. I started clocking up in the nose. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Get home, have some dinner, and like, you know how you can just you can feel the sickness coming on. And I start fevering like a motherfucker. And I just kept sweats on, heavy blanket, and sweated it out. So needs to say I didn't make it to work New Year's Eve. And I took the day off too. Just wasn't quite... it was definitely a lot in the head, heavy fever. And then this next day following was some decent kidney pains. But I just wanted to show like the moon moving through that 12th house. And there was a bunch of other things it was triggering. Some of my natural natal, some of it in the transiting planets. For those that need greater understanding, your natal is that freeze frame of where your planets were when you were born, and transiting planets is where they're ever continuously to move around us. I was going to say, what else was I going to touch on? Well, happy 3/4 year. I'm trying to get in the habit of not seeing this date as the new year. Astrologically, I guess the new year would most be associated with the solstice, which happened a good week ago, or a little over a week ago. But why would the beginning of winter be the beginning of the year? I've been pondering and thinking about diving into that topic. Who created that? But the more you start to follow astrology as your compass, the new year truly is the sun's entrance into Aries, the beginning of life, not surviving life. The winter signs generally deal with survival. Real funny though how the last day of the year I get sick, but at the same time I can't help wonder if they didn't swab my nose. I don't know what the fuck they got on that cotton. I mean, you would think it's clean cotton, comes out of a fucking sealed package. But real odd how not too long after that, and then the last day of 2020, I get sick finally. So I ain't even gonna mention the C word, but it just felt like the flu to me. It's funny what I was thinking last year, a year ago, because I've been going in and out of dropping my substance uses, weed, alcohol, and last year I had some shrooms that I took on New Year's Eve, and oh boy, talk about setting up for a bad trip the whole year, huh? But yeah, let's see, what else did I got here? Yeah, it was real funny that the moon, just before it hit Gemini, right at the end of the day, kind of ate shit on my board and tweaked my wrist. Gemini rules the hands. And on top of that, I have Uranus and my natal Jupiter. So transiting Uranus and my natal Jupiter scoring my Mercury. So the wrist. One thing I've noticed is every one of my lessons, I keep getting all air signs, either heavy Aquarius. The other day I had two parents that were both Libras, and their daughter was a Gemini in another class. I had my last class I had reoccurring students from last year, and the one girl was a Gemini. And I've noticed, because there's 3 types of learning. One is obviously the visual learning. There's the audio learning and the kinesthetic learning. So obviously visual are able to see it, mimic it, and put it to action, which comes from your fire signs. Audio obviously is the air signs, the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then the kinesthetic, I haven't quite broken it down. I feel like it's a mix of both water and earth signs. But perhaps it's more of an earth sign thing. So kinesthetic is kind of like learning it through the act of, like I'm going to grab your arm and put it in a certain place. And then, I'm going to put my hand on your leg and pull it this way and tell you the weight needs to be right there. Or, so yeah, my point being that people are responding better to the audio learning, to taking the words and putting it to action. All right. Yeah, I'd say, for starting the year, it's going to be more so in effect tomorrow, but definitely a great New Year's for partying, being that Mars is in his home sign, the moon is in Leo, and Venus is in Sagittarius, so that's a definite good energy for getting your party on. My shit got triggered. I spent it bedridden. Oh, I'm sad. I'm getting old. Or my vehicle's getting old. But I guess I'll just be a beautiful older person then. But oh well. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, and stay blessed.